Hi, welcome to T3 Teach Tech Theater. And today, Julie and I wanted to just kind of chat with you guys because we've been talking about this a lot. So it's a topic that is near and dear to our hearts in this crazy, crazy time. And that is, how are we saving our sanity?
We don't have a lot of sanity left. We got to save what we have. It is so hard doing what we're doing, trying to teach our job online and trying to make sure that we are a positive force for our students. We have to make sure that we are putting on our mask first to protect all the others.
Right. And when we're chatting about this, one of the things that I think I feel very blessed about is the fact that I'm able to make connections with fellow theater teachers. Julie and I obviously are in conversation a lot and commiserating a lot. Our district of theater teachers meet almost every week to talk. And as a matter of fact, just talking about today, prior to taping this, we were in a board meeting for a local theater organization in San Diego County. When I got to that meeting, I was just, I'd been going round and round with the parent and so I got to the meeting and I was kind of, and then it was just a matter of didn't even complain about what was going on, but it was just a chance to go, okay, I can get out of my head for a moment and talk about other things related to theater that aren't me.
And that's so key. Kirsten is much better at hiding her poker face than I am. Because I was at that same meeting and I was like, like a troll in the back. And that's because I had been very excited when school started up. I was teaching at school. I was teaching in my room at least. And I felt like some normalcy. And a kid tested positive in my space. I was feeling no symptoms or anything, but everybody in that classroom got sent home for 14 days. So I've been teaching from home, which was not where I wanted to be. That's why I went to school. And it brought two things to myself. One, how much I had missed being at school and because I have a camaraderie of some teachers there. We eat lunch together outside the theater, and how much that brightens my day every day. Talking with others brightens my day so very much. And it's kind of funny. So we sit outside the theater and other teachers have come by, and there was like a history teacher, and when he always goes for a jog, and one day he's like, can I come and sit with you guys? And I'm like, yeah, you can. Like, we all are craving our connection. Normally we get it from our students, and normally we see our colleagues, but we're not getting any of that. Everyone's in their little closed off spaces. Well, all our doors are open, but everyone's staying in their little spaces, and we're not getting what we normally thrive on. And it's so important to think, what can we do to save ourselves, save our sanity, because everything's weird right now. It's kind of like being on Mars.
It really is. So one of the things that we would encourage you guys to do is to reach out to people who understand. If it's colleagues within your same district or in your same community or on Facebook groups that are supportive, because we've seen some that are not. But if you find a group of people that you're part of your tribe and they get where you are coming from, sometimes just being around those people is enough to just and let go of part of whatever's going on. And in addition to that, we'll just throw out that if you are feeling that way and you just don't feel like you have a place to turn, we are here for you. And we would certainly be willing to set up a Zoom and just chat and commiserate and, I don't know, do a happy hour, whatever you want to do. But we would be willing also to do that, because more than ever, it's that connection that's going to be important. And we've been talking about this too, that kind of idea. We want to make sure that theater teachers that are good theater teachers stick around. When Julie and I started to think about what might be sanity savers, one of the things that we talked about is creating kind of goals or making like a real short list of things you want to accomplish this year. And on that list, number one is that you're going to survive the year and make it through the year. And if that's the goal, then everything you're doing kind of needs to fall into that goal. So and I'm preaching to the choir, so I'm speaking to myself when I say this, because I am the queen of to-do lists and over overextending myself. But if my goal is to survive this year and make it till the end, then I keep that in mind as things start to come up, and I can say that's not going to be good for me. That's going to be a little too much this year, because this year is so bizarre that I can't possibly hold myself to the same standard I would in a normal school year.
Give yourself permission to not do the things you normally do. Both Kirsten and I had our performance class. Ours got divided up into quarters. Our performance class was our first quarter. So it was the first time we were trying to teach, and I had, okay, so we're going to make this verbatim theater piece. We're going to do this and this, and the kids weren't so engaged, and they were overwhelmed, and I'm like, I'm not going to do what I thought I was going to do. I'm going to do something. I'm going to do something, and it's going to work, and I'm going to change what my plan is for my winter, and I'm going to change what my plan is for my spring, looking at what it is, but I'm not going to keep trying to bulldoze through to the same kind of shows that I normally do if it's only going to stress me out and the kids aren't going to be involved. It doesn't make sense. I want it to be good for all of us.
One of the things that we often talk about in T3 when we're doing things like podcasts we've created or these videos is the fact that our profession in teaching theater education is a gift that keeps on taking. And if we are not careful, it can really eat up an entire existence.
As Kirsten said, it eats you alive. When we're doing our shows, when we're in that show cycle, everything else has to go on hold. And actually, I'm going to say that that's also part of the thing that, one, that I thrived on, but two, it made me stop what I was normally doing, and I focused on this one thing where I was successful, and then it was complete, and I felt good, and then I got to move on to the next thing. There is nothing. It's just a treadmill right now, and I don't get to have my treats of creating a set. I don't get to have a treat of the show and sitting back and having parents go, oh my gosh, I can't believe you got that out of the kid, and that was such a great show. I didn't get any of that. So we've got to make sure that we are looking at the long run. Don't burn yourself out because you're trying to get done what you normally do. Don't burn yourself out trying to do so much. Because we've been home, because we've seen all of the things, and Kirsten was talking about finding like Facebook groups and stuff, and there's so much stuff out there. There's so much stuff out there, and it can become really overwhelming. Both of us were talking about we keep snagging stuff, but we don't have the bandwidth to think about it right now because I'm just trying to get through this week. I'm just trying to finish this quarter. Yep, I'll look at it when we hit break time or something like that. That it's great for you to take that and not feel all bad because you're not implementing this immediately. I think that the stuff that I've learned doing this stuff virtually, I'm going to take into our non-virtual world. Mm-hmm. I have learned lessons and I'm like, this is a good lesson. The kids really enjoyed this. They really learned something. And I'm still going to use this when we don't have to use this. And the stuff that you find online, you're going to look at it at a later time. You're going to use it. It doesn't have to be used right now. It doesn't have to be used right now. It's to enrich you as much as the kids. Don't beat yourself up. Be calm. Be kind. I was doing some professional development on how to teach children in a Zoom culture, and it said that students can only understand, or they can only pay attention for as old as they are. So you had a 16-year-old, they can hang for 16 minutes. And in the Zoom culture, it is cut in half. So the stuff we normally do isn't going to happen. And that happens for me too. Maybe I can hold 25 minutes, maybe. And we want to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves first and then others.
So as part of that, also, we started to think about what might be one of the things that we thought we'd share some of the stuff that we've kind of stumbled upon. I am a list maker. Like I make lists of lists with lists on top of lists. And I used to carry, or I still carry around my clipboard because it's like my Linus security blanket. But I used to make lists on that clipboard. And then I would, sometimes I'd have things and they'd kind of get lost in the shuffle and all that. And then I found once the lockdown hit, my brain didn't do clipboard very well anymore. Mm-hmm. And so, I had to switch to another method of just trying to write everything down and keep it in one place. One of the things I actually inadvertently began collecting, and during COVID, I cleaned out a closet and found a whole bunch of them. I have a ton of these blank journals. Apparently that's a thing for me. I don't know why, but I have about 15 of them. And so I started putting everything into a journal, which kept the lists and kept the minutes from meetings and everything in there. I started with COVID, so I now have my end of last year journal, my summer and trying to survive COVID journal. I have a journal for workshops and conferences, and then I have my everything else journal. And in here are things like the passwords that I can never remember to the websites, like MTI and all of that jazz. And what are the counselor phone numbers and things like what's the quarter schedule, stuff like that. But it's so now I know it's all right here, and I don't have to think, where did that one piece of paper go that had that thing on it? It's all right here. And actually, it was a little bit inspired by something that Julie started when we were at the Playhouse, La Jolla Playhouse, a couple summers ago, that you got from a friend. So I'm going to let you brag on yourself.
A friend of ours was doing this beautiful thing, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "A bullet journal." I'm like, "What's a bullet journal?" So I Googled it, and there's lots of pretty bullet journals you can do. I don't do the pretty one. I do the very basic one. But the same idea of being able to have all that information. I've got the preparing for a canceled school year. Here is my list of everything I need to take out of school because I think we're getting shut down. It's got calendars in here. It's all the stuff, but it allows me to keep it, again, like she said, in one spot. And I'm about to go to a new one. And I was just looking through this of like, what do I need to take out of this one and bring into the next one? I had written down things of like plays. Someone had mentioned a play. And I'm like, oh, plays that are women heavy. Fantastic. Because do I have that on my phone? Yeah, somewhere. Do I have that in an email somewhere? Yeah, somewhere. But I don't remember. And the joy, and I don't know whether Kirsten does this, but the joy of a bullet journal is that there is an index at the beginning. You write an index and everything that you put in there. So I can go, oh, where was that? Oh, it says, the meeting for that board meeting is on one page 73. Great. So it really has saved me. I was not as good as she was about putting it on a clipboard. And there would always be the things of like, I know we're not doing shows, but it was always like getting ready for showtime. And do I know that the tickets need to be done? Yes. Do I know that I need to put in the t-shirt order? Yes. But when I put it on the bullet journal, I'm like, oh yeah, let's actually do that today. Today I'm doing that one. And if I don't do it today, I had to move it to the next day. And then I was like, I don't want to move it again. I better do it. And it really helped.
For me, always one of the things was the program. That always seemed to be like one of the last things, which just kind of and I got to think about it through the years, which is like even like up till almost opening night, I was putting the program together. And I thought that's the dumbest thing out, because it's not like the musical numbers are going to change, right? The production staff is pretty much the same. If I end up having a kid drop a show, then I can put somebody else in there. It was just like, but that was always like the big scramble for me doing the program. Like, wait, what? Kind of that same thing. One of the other things that Julie and I have been kind of talking about is that idea of once you create a list or a series of goals or something you want to accomplish, that list really is very fluid. It can change. One of my goals this year was to do this device piece. Well, that fell apart. And so that didn't work. So now I'm actually doing a scripted show in the spring. And we actually did one of these little videos saying, don't feel like you have to do a scripted show in the spring. And now I'm doing a scripted show in the spring. So sometimes just things happen. And for my stage manager brain, when I've made something on a list and I have to go in a different direction, it's kind of me, but again, it's theater, right? So you plan something, and I have a magnet on my refrigerator at work that says, we plan, God laughs. And I just need to kind of remember that it's just going to be what it is, and that it's okay to start in a direction, realize it's not working, and go ahead and change that.
And on top of that, so like I said that I was at home for this little chunk of time. I had planned what we were going to do. I knew what my next week was. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm at home. That's not going to work with me being home, having to change. And also, I think our county just went into purple again today.
Yep.
So knowing that I'm teaching in person and I'm teaching online, and at any time that can go to completely online, or, for me, because I was teaching in person and online at the same time. When the kids were in front of me, I was Zooming still. I'm like, get on the Zoom. We're all Zooming at the same time. Me having to go home didn't change anything. The kids still got on Zoom with me. I still taught my class to make sure that you are prepared for change. I mean, that's what theater is. You're always prepared for change. Yes, and what's happening now? Okay.
And I think that's part of the thing too. For me, that's a frustration. I think I'm a director because I'm bossy and I like to have people listen to what I say. And right now, I can't be a boss because everything is changing so much. And yes, are we flexible? Certainly. But I want to be in charge of how flexible I need to be because I want to be in charge of the circumstances that are making me flexible. So that is a real frustration. I just need to continually acknowledge is the fact that because I'm not in control, there's so much I have to let go of what I thought I was going to accomplish. I am in year 2 of building a program, and we've had some major ups and downs with the kids, some real frustrations. The fact that I was the new kid on the block last year, started changing some stuff around. We did one show, and then we were just getting started on another one, and everything fell apart. I have students that blame me for that. And so I just need to know that it's just something I couldn't control. I can't control how they feel. I can empathize with it. But at the end of the day, I need to find fellow theater teachers where I can go, do you believe this just happened? I just had this conversation and I'm really bummed about it. And then at least I can let it go and move on with my day.
Something else that I do, mine's just like goofy little things. I have chimes in my room that every time I walk past it, I hit them, and it just kind of helped dispel the stillness and ickiness, or the fact that there were some special ed kids at our school that did this as a fundraiser, and this brings me great joy every time I look at it. Brought it home with me, so it sits on my desk right here. It makes me happy.
There you go. I am teaching 100% from home. There are students that are in a class, but there is a substitute with them because I have family members that I'm not comfortable potentially exposing them to COVID. So I am home 100% of the time. So my desk is my dining room table. But I have my little tchotchkes set out. So I have my little Cedric Diggory Harry Potter figures. I have my Mandalorian The Child that's there, and cute little pens and things like that. Just little things that can just help me feel just a little goofy. And just a little, they're just fun things. What can I do to for just a moment when I pick up that thing or I see that thing in my periphery, I could just chuckle.
Absolutely. Because one of the things that's super important about this year is to remember, yes, of course, we're important. The arts are important. But when I very first started teaching, I thought I was teaching theater. And, I was trying to get through all the classics. I was trying to do all of the stuff. And then I realized that my job really was to teach how to be a human. And that helped me shift into not taking myself so seriously and thinking about how could I help enrich these kids' lives. And I made another shift in there's no AP test for theater. So I don't have a whole bunch of stuff I have to get through before the end of the year. Anything that I teach these kids is bonus. Everything is enrichment. If I, through Kirsten, we do something called Musical Mondays and Theater Thursdays, where there's like little clips and we show the kids stuff and ask them questions about what they saw. They've never seen musicals before. Now they're seeing a little clip of West Side Story. Now they're seeing a little clip of, A Curious Incident in the Dog in the Nighttime. They're seeing stuff that they never would have seen. I've already enriched their lives. Or in my tech theater class, when I'm having them learn about their personal aesthetic. They've never heard the word aesthetic before, and they never realized that what they were wearing had a story. And I've had kids are like, I never thought of that before. Fantastic. I've already won. I've taught you something. That's what we have to think about. We are always enriching their lives. We don't have an end goal of an AP test. We're all bonus, and it's fantastic.
So we just want to encourage you, again, to find things that are going to give you sanity. And if it's just one thing, a couple things, we always say at the beginning of every year, make 3 goals, 3 to 5 goals. But really, one thing we're going to encourage you to do this year is to make 1 goal. And that goal is, let's make it till the end of the year, because this is crazy pants time and nobody knows where we're going to be in January, let alone next June. So we're going to just roll with it, cling on to our communities and to our friends, and find little things that are going to help keep us sane. And as always, you can reach us at teachtechtheater@gmail.com or check out our website, teachtechtheater.org. We are here to help you, and we've said it before, but we'll say it again. Reach out to us, because if you don't have a community, we are a good, friendly, non-judgmental ear, and we think we're kind of cool to hang around. Just saying. But find that community, people that are going to build you up and accept you where you are, and know that everything that you're doing this year to get to the end of the year is fine. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please remember to like and subscribe.